Hi, it's Marcus Guiliano. I can be found at healthychefdude.com, and I'm a chef on a mission to bring better food. Today I'm going to talk about something a little different, something off track of food. I'm going to talk about cosmetics. Did you know the word organic on cosmetics means diddly squat? It means nothing in most cases. There's certain companies that really hold high standards, but generally speaking, the word organic in cosmetics is a self-regulated term, so they don't have to answer to anybody, okay? So when you're going out and buying organic hair gel, organic this, and shampoo, organic toothpaste, unless it's a reputable company that you know what they're doing, they're listing everything that they're doing, then it's really not. You're going to get confused with a lot of those fancy terms back there, those names of ingredients you cannot pronounce, okay? So this is majorly disappointing because we have an Organic Food Act that ensures, or that has standards of saying, okay, that 95% of the food or 90% of the food going into the product has to be organic for it to be called organic. And then once they drop down to the next tier, if it has 70%, they can say made with organic ingredients or contains 70% organic ingredients. With cosmetics, it says nothing like that. Now, I'm concerned about cosmetics. Of course, I don't wear cosmetics, and the only thing I put in my hair is coconut oil, and I use a very high-end, really edible shampoo that we use at home, and our toothpaste is totally edible, and my deodorant is practically edible as well, made with a blend of essential oils and no funky animal byproducts, nothing like that. I mean, really, really clean. But I have a daughter, and she's 10 years old, right, Court?
Yeah.
And
Hi.
Courtney came home from camp the other day with hairspray in.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, where'd you get hairspray?
We had like a little dance, and
You had a dance, and
we did our
so
hair.
all the girls got hairspray, right?
Yeah.
And I could immediately, when you walked in, the first thing I said was, "What are you wearing? I can smell this like artificial like chemical coming off you." And as soon as I touched her hair, it was like really hard. And I'm like, "Oh no, where'd you get this?" And she was like, "At camp." And Eric wasn't too happy either that,
Yeah.
that Nadine got.
He's like, he said.
Courtney's friend got it too, and
He said, does Nadine have it? And I'm like, yeah. And then he said something like, oh, when I get home, she's gonna be blah 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 or something.
right, because we're concerned parents about what's going into. You know better than that, because we're so clean at home. So, but here's the good news with all this. Here's what I'm trying to get at. Unregulated, right? Bad news. Good news is Whole Foods, as of 2011, next June, so 11 months away, if you're watching this and when I release this video, is going to adhere to the same standards that the Organic Food Act adheres to. So when you see, now this is huge, because here's a big box store that's going to change the cosmetic industry, probably for good, because all these companies now, to be able to sell to Whole Foods, that if they're going to list the word organic on it, they're going to have to change your ingredients, or they're going to have to take that word organic off. So Whole Foods is going to revolutionize this, and it's just one company that's saying, you know what, we understand what our customers are looking for, and we don't want to deceive anybody. Whether you have a good image or bad image of Whole Foods, whether you avoid them or whether you go out of your way to get to them, they're doing the right thing in my opinion here. Now, I like Whole Foods to a certain extent. I'd rather support an independent family-run a health food store if I can, but when I'm traveling in big cities, Whole Foods is, an easy thing to just to hop into and have a lot of choices and be able to find everything. So, I use the good and bads with Whole Food. But this is such big news. Whole Foods will now have the same standards as food. They're going above and beyond what the government's saying, because the government's really not doing much about the word organic on cosmetics. So, as of next year, big news, June 2011, congratulations Whole Foods for taking this step. It's because of us, consumers demanding things, and we go to the stores, and we fill out the comment cards, and we send emails, and we send tweets, and we support, buying these products. These companies see the trends, and they see what's happening. The grocery store around us, Stop and Shop, they implemented a great system where they rate the nutrition of things with stars. And it's way more comprehensive than the government's doing with their rating system, or with their lack of rating system, or just with with how they word things. And they have 1, 2, and 3 stars. And I got to tell you, not many things in Stop and Shop gets 3 stars, because they have an independent panelist run panel of nutritionists around the country that are inputting to this, which is phenomenal, because they're looking at salt, they're looking at fat, they're looking at the processed white flour, they're looking at corn syrup, they're looking at all these things across the board, which is ensuring that you're getting better foods. And really, honestly, a lot of the 3-star stuff is going to be fresh fruits and fresh veggies. Once you start getting the packaged foods, very, very, very rarely do you want to answer that? That's your brother. Very, very, very rarely do you actually have like processed foods that fall up into these high criteria. And even like the best foods that you would even think of, the processed, are falling in a star short because they might have a little too much salt or something. So it's really good that these companies have really stepped up. Another thing that Stop and Shop has done, they've actually labeled, you can go and see American garlic, Chinese garlic. They're labeling the origins, because again, you and I are demanding and asking and appreciating, or going out of our way and looking for this stuff. So these big companies are really taking a step. Congratulations, Whole Foods. I'm really proud. Now, don't be misled and don't think that everything you're going to be able to go into Whole Foods and buy is going to be organic in the cosmetic line. They're just changing the labeling, so if it's not organic, they're going to take the word organic out. So the true organic cosmetic producers are really going to rise up. And the other ones, it's going to be tricky, because, okay, so do you sell to Whole Foods your non-organic one, and do you keep your organic sort of sticker on and your bogus organic for all the other stores? Probably not. I'm going to venture to say that these companies that aren't doing the right thing are just going to take the word off organic altogether, because it would be a little confusing if you can walk into Whole Foods and, for instance, and say, okay, here's Adam and Apple organic shampoo, and here's Adam and Apple non-organic, but be the same product, because if they're going into Whole Foods, they'll take the sticker off. If they're going into other stores, they might keep that same label on. So hopefully that won't happen, because then you'll get home and say, hey, you know what? I bought the Apple organic from store X, and Whole Foods had the Apple unorganic. What's the difference? It's the same label almost, and same ingredients, identical. So what's going on? So hopefully the manufacturers will totally shift their whole mindset and say, okay, enough of the misleading. Let's just take it off and be done with it, not double label. Because this happens in the wine world, believe it or not. There's a lot of regulations in alcohol and wine, especially in New York State where we're at right now. And one of the big things in New York State is they like to give, so a lot of these vineyards like to give special pricing to restaurants, because let's face it, if I'm a restaurateur, I can't afford to buy 50 cases like a big liquor house, a big company, a big wine store. I might be able to buy 5 cases. So by law, the liquor authority, you have to charge the same exact price for the same exact product in the same exact in New York. So now the wineries are saying, okay, well, let's call something, Field Blend A and Field Blend C. So the label's different, product's the same. So these wineries are actually running 2 labeling lines, or two separate stickers, and now they're getting away with saying, okay, well, it's a different label, it's a different name, even though it's the same product. So we want to avoid that in the cosmetic world. We really want to avoid that in the cosmetic world, and I have high hopes that really is. I'm Marcus Guiliano, Healthy Chef Dude. You are what you put on yourself. Those cosmetics, everything you put on yourself gets assimilated into your system. So you are what you eat, you are what you wear.